All right, great. So just to give you a table of content so that you can understand how the flow of events will happen, we're just going to go through, about us, our team. Then we'll talk about trends in Agile. We'll talk about career progressions in Agile. So apart from Scrum Master, what else? We're not going to have a panel discussion today because we actually have a really small audience today. So that part we are going to skip, but I'm going to, I think one of my former students is going to join, and when he joins, we'll just allow him talk a bit. Then we'll talk about how you can become a Scrum Master with us, and then we'll have Q&A. Now, a bit about Redluxe. Redluxe is a Canadian company, and we're dedicated to providing high-quality Agile and Scrum training programs that enable individuals and organizations to adopt and implement Agile methodologies effectively. As we're doing that, just by in the chat, let's make it interactive. On a scale of 1 to 10, can everybody just let me know what is your knowledge of Agile? What is your knowledge of Agile on a scale of 1 to 10? In the chat, please. Okay, let's see. 0. Keep it coming. 4. Deborah, that's great. You're almost an expert. 1. All right. 1 over 10. The reason why I'm asking is so that I know how to tailor this presentation for you guys. Great, keep it coming. 5. Okay, we got some people that have Agile knowledge here. Amazing. So, who am I? My name is Pamela, and I have 15 years experience in technology. I work as a release train engineer. So what's a release train engineer? In companies that do scaled Agile, which is Agile that is implemented in large organizations, there are people who are chief Scrum Masters. So they're not just Scrum Masters, they oversee several Scrum teams. So that's what I am. I'm at the program level in Scrum, where I oversee 13 Scrum teams. I've been a Scrum Master, project manager, product manager, and business analyst across multiple industries. And I've mainly worked in financial services. The core of my experience has been in the financial services industry, but I have a bit of experience in retail, insurance. I've worked for non-for-profit organizations, startups, and done a lot of work in the cards, payment, and acquiring space. So that's a bit about myself. But what I'm going to also do as we're getting more people is in the chat, please let us know where you are joining from, your name, and which country, which city, where are you joining from? Let's make it interactive. So where are you joining from today? I'm joining you from Hamilton, Canada. So Hamilton is in Ontario, which is a province in Canada. So where is everyone joining from today? Hannah is joining from London. Deborah, London. Okay, my London people are waiting. We have Jamila from Leicester. So guys, I really struggle on pronouncing some cities in the UK. So if I murdered it, don't don't crucify me. We have Jamila from Malta. We've got Liverpool, Newcastle upon Tyne. Great, keep it coming, people. Let's know where you're joining from. And for today, I want you to go to this website, slido.com. So go to slido.com. I'll give you 2 minutes to do that while you're there. You can do it on your phone and then enter this code. So 2694105, right? And submit your questions. The reason why I'm saying this is that I'll be going through the slides. This is not the interactive portion, so I'll let you know where the interactive portion is. But because you might have questions that jump right at you as I'm talking, or things that you already come with, you can start to submit your questions on that website. It's very simple to use. So please go to slido.com and enter the code 2694105 to submit your questions. Thank you. And you also see it in the chat as well, in case you miss it. Thank you. But let me go back just to give you guys a moment. So please go to slido.com and enter this code. And if you just joined and you've not told us where you're joining from in the chat section, please let us know where you're joining from so that we can shout out. Okay. So let's talk about Agile. A lot of you have already mentioned that you already have some knowledge about Agile, and a number of you don't have any knowledge in Agile, but that's fine. So I'm going to tell you this like everybody is still figuring out Agile, right? That's what I'm going to tell you this as. So we all know that software is developed, right? How is this software developed really? Have we thought about it? No. So software development is these days is developed using Agile methodologies. Why? Because we want to be able to get value to our customers frequently. So Agile is a software development approach that allows teams to deliver small, faster, and more frequent value to their customers. And it promotes an iterative approach. So iterative approach is rather than thinking of releasing software in a big bang approach, right? Rather than doing that, I hope, can you see my screen, please? I hope you see my screen. Oh, sorry, I was not sharing my screen and nobody told me. I'm so sorry, guys. Sorry. I just realized I was not sharing my screen. Can you see the screen now? Okay, good. I'm sorry, guys. I just realized I was not sharing. Now you can see it. So these were some of the things we talked about going to slido.com. So let's talk about Agile. Now, think about 20 years ago. I don't know how, I mean, we're all small, right? It took a long time for things to change. So television sets stayed the same for a very long time. But now you notice that in the world of today, with the Googles, with the Amazons, things are being released fast. Think about it. Like, no sooner have you bought the new iPhone, and then the next minute, like in 6 months, there's something new coming into the market. Have we thought about it? How do companies get to release things fast? In the world of today, because of the demand for customers for newer and better technology, if companies are slow, like the companies of 15 years ago, 20 years ago, they will lose their market share. Only the companies that are fast, quick to the market can maintain their customers and get a bigger share of the market. So that is why Agile is becoming popular, right? It's been around for a long time. Trust me, it's been around since the 1990s. But why is it getting more awareness now? It's because of the world that we live in. And Agile allows companies, teams to be able to respond to change with greater flexibility. So if, for example, they were about to launch a phone and the market has changed, then they can switch direction. I'll give you a very tangible example. During COVID happened. It didn't give anybody any notice. There was nothing like, oh, we're going to shut down everything next 3 months and give people time to figure it out. There was nothing like that, right? Rather, the shutdown happened almost immediately to stop the spread of the virus, and everyone had to go into their houses. Companies had to shut down. Now, companies that were already optimized for e-commerce were good because they already had an operation that could cater to people at home, right? But companies that were brick and mortar, that were still in physical locations, had to implement e-commerce. Now, imagine if a company is dependent on only people walking to their stores and they could not quickly adapt their operations to an e-commerce site. You can imagine they would lose a lot of money. But the companies that were more agile, that could do this in a quicker way, they were able to retain their market share. Of course, their profit might have taken a nosedive, right, during the period we're trying to get online, but at least they got back up, right? So this is what Agile does. It allows you to respond to change with greater flexibility. I talked about iterative and incremental development. What does this mean? So picture this. Let's say you're someone who wants them to do a painting of you, a real life painting, not a photograph that can be taken instantly. You want them to do a high quality painting for you, right? They've told you that this painter is good. You trust them. Now, let's look at two scenarios. Imagine a scenario where the painter tells you, it's going to take me 6 months to get out this awesome painting for you, right? And then you wait 6 months, you are nervous, you might forget about it self, and then all of a sudden they bring this painting. Two things can happen. The painting might meet your requirements, right? Or it might not. Now, picture the second scenario. The painter keeps you in the know about what they're doing. So let's say they say it's going to take us 6 months to build your paint your picture. For month one, we'll be able to provide this view for you. So you can see the outline, your pose, and give us feedback and say, does this make sense? So in 1 month, you get to see this. You start, so this is painting of Mona Lisa, right? You see this, maybe you don't like the background or you don't like the pose. You have an opportunity to give them feedback faster. Rather than wait for 6 months, you get a painting that you might not like. So at every stage during the Agile process, they are soliciting customer feedback and showing them what their product looks like. Which scenario would you like? Scenario one, where you're waiting 6 months to get your product, or scenario two, where you are seeing your full picture forming each time? In the chat, let's see what people think. Which scenario would you prefer? Scenario one, waiting 6 months for a picture. Scenario two, where you see your picture evolve and you can give them feedback such that what you get at the end of the day is something you want. Good, everybody likes scenario two. Simply because when software teams are building stuff, they can't just decide this is what the customer wants and keep on building it. Customer satisfaction is at the core of what businesses do, at the core of what teams do. And so you can only know what you are doing if you're getting customer feedback faster. One example I've also given in the past is for the ladies in the house, for Nigerian ladies in the house who have stylists that make clothes for you. You give them all these clothes, you come back in 3 weeks or 1 month and it's a mess, right? But imagine this does not happen in haute couture. In haute couture, if you go, designers, when they commission designers to, when celebrities commission designers to build clothes for them, they're not leaving them and going. At every point in time, the celebrity is coming for a fitting, they're making sure that everything fits like a glove, right? And in my opinion, the high-end designer industry that does haute couture pieces has been agile for centuries, because that's how you build. You're building what the customer really wants. So today, I just want to talk about trends in Agile. There's a reason why every one of you is here. 14 of you are here. You're not here because you don't have anything to do on a Saturday. You're really here because maybe someone has told you about Agile. Maybe even in your company, they're doing Agile and you want to get into the role. Or maybe, simply put, you're doing something today and you're like, see, I want to get into technology and I've been told that this is the fastest way to get into technology. Everybody has a reason why they're getting into why they want to know about Agile. But what I always tell people and why I do these information sessions is that everything that happens in the world, when there's like noise around something, or you're seeing that you keep on hearing this more often, there's something driving it. It's not just happening just because. Something is driving it. And so we're just going to talk about, there's so many trends in Agile, but we're going to talk about 4 trends in Agile today. And then we'll get down to the core of it, Scrum, the most common and popular framework in agility. So let's talk about skilled agile. I mentioned to you that I'm a release train engineer. So I work in a company that implements a skilled agile framework. So if some of you are familiar of a term called scaling, it's used a lot in business, right? If you're a small company and you say you want to scale, it means you're trying to expand your reach, right? You're trying to scale up your business. It could be in size, it could be in volume. Now, in big companies, I work for a company that has over 100,000 employees around North America, right? And constantly growing. How do they, as a big company of 100 people, implement Agile? Because Agile is really for small teams. So if you attend our training or you've attended any training before, you will know that when we talk about Agile, for us to deliver value, it has to be a small team, right? Small teams can deliver value. Now, so Agile really works well for small teams, but in larger organizations where there's like hundreds of developers working on a product, they use a framework called Scaled Agile to implement, right? And in this way, it's multiple small Scrum teams working on different pieces of a software or a product or a strategic goal that the company has. So the company might say, one of the common themes where I live is that it's very immigrant friendly. So people are constantly moving. So most financial companies love to be the preferred bank that immigrants go through. So they might have a 4-year strategy to say they want to be the most immigrant friendly, so they want to be the most friendly bank for newcomers to Canada. An example. That's their strategy, right? Under this strategy, they might decide, for us to do this, we're going to be offering like newcomer friendly credit cards. We're going to offer newcomer friendly lines of credit. We're going to offer newcomer friendly bank accounts, because you know, when you move to a country, if most people start from the bottom in terms of your cash is limited, you don't want to trade around, right? So one of the best things that banks can do for you is be nice on the fees, give you fees that make sense, right? They might not give you a $5,000 credit card to start or a $10,000 credit card, but at least they can give you $1,000, $2,000 to allow you to start to build a credit history. They might give you a savings account or a credit account that is low interest, things like that. They might give you a line of credit that is smaller, things like that. So if we think about a company, they have one goal to become a newcomer friendly bank, but they will now have different products to be able to tie back to that objective. So that's how Scaled Agile works. There will be different Agile teams that are working to deliver each of those different products or different initiatives that help the company to be able to reach their strategy. So this is done at large companies, and there are 3 levels. So just learn this. So in Scaled Agile, there's a team. So in the team, if you become a Scrum Master, you will function at this layer, the team layer. You will function at the team layer, right? The team layer is single teams. Now there will be a collection of teams that make up a program, right? So it might be 5 teams working on different kinds of credit cards for newcomers, right? And they all roll into maybe a strategic program where someone like me, I'm a release train engineer, I sit with a senior product manager, right? So in this team, there are 5 teams. There'll be like 5 different teams with different Scrum Masters. But at the program level, which we call the Agile release trains, there's usually only one release train engineer there. So a release train engineer is a more senior Scrum Master that has had years of experience. And this is kind of like, I'm giving an insight into the career progression, because so that when they tell you, hey, Scrum is a good role, question is, okay, it's a good role, great, but what happens to me in 5 years? What's my career growth? So that's one of the things that we want to talk about. The next trend that we're going to talk about that is making Scrum and Agile really popular is business agility. I already mentioned this before when we were talking about the Amazons, the Googles, the Apples, the Zooms, of this world. We know them, all the unicorns, right? So the world is rapidly changing, and organizations are struggling to stay relevant to customers, really because there's nothing you release out there that another company does not have a version of. There's always, there's so many phone companies, but how do people retain the market share, right? And so for organizations to stay relevant, organizations must become agile. They must become agile. So they must become innovative, and they must have the ability to outlearn and outperform their competitors. How do they do this? Agile companies that have to become, that must become agile, because if they don't, they can't meet their customers' needs. And they have to be flexible. We talked about flexibility. We talked about how COVID happened and what people wanted yesterday was no longer what they wanted the next day. We heard about, if one of the ways to become agile, again, a very good example of business agility, and I'm sure it happened around the world. Here in Canada, a company that used to produce spirits, so they used to produce alcohol, like bread that we all drink, right? Because of COVID, they had to retrofit their operations. They retrofitted their factories to be able to produce hand sanitizer, because we all know that hand sanitizers are actually alcohol as well, right? They retrofitted their factory to be able to produce hand sanitizer. That, for me, is a very good case of business agility, because they realize, yeah, people are drinking for sure, but there's also a need in the market, and we also have the capacity to do this. And so what they did is they became flexible. They became flexible to meet their customers' needs. So customers have to be responsive to change, and they must focus. And for them to be responsive to change, they must focus on changing their strategy. One, to become agile, they must focus on changing their organization and their operations to be able to become agile. And now I want us to focus on the operational part. So they've created a strategy. They say we want to be agile. What does strategy mean? So at a tactical level, when you say I want to be agile, it means that you're looking at changing your operations, you're looking at introducing new rules, introducing new trainings for you to take advantage of being agile so that you can be the leader in the marketplace. And for those new rules, it means that companies are going to be hiring more professionals who are knowledgeable about agile. They're going to be hiring Scrum Masters, they're going to be hiring Agile coaches, right? They're going to be hiring managers to manage the Scrum Master. They're going to hire trainers, right? So this is the key thing that is driving the demand and growth for business agility. And I'm going to say this, right? Like, the future for Scrum Masters or Agile professionals looks very bright. And please don't forget to submit your questions on Slido, please. So awesome. So let's talk about what we're here today. If you've ever read about Scrum, or you've ever attended the class, or if you've not attended the class, you've attended my class, you would learn what the relationship is between Agile and Scrum. So think of Agile as a set of, it's a set of guiding principles under which there are several methodologies. So if you think of medicine as a field, but under medicine, we might have the natural medicine people, we might have conventional medicine who are doctors, right? Think of Agile like that. So medicine as a broad, we will have Oriental medicine. I'm not an expert on medicine, but I must allow you to see medicine is an umbrella term, and then there's different brands of medical fields under it. Agile itself is an umbrella term for different ways for companies to implement Agile. So a company can say we're Agile, but the way they implement it is different. One example is Scrum, which is the most popular, but there's something called Kanban. Kanban is a way of implementing Agile. It's a different framework. There's extreme programming, which is a different way of implementing Agile in a company. And then there's different kinds of framework. But the most popular is Scrum. Really, why? So according to the Scrum guide, Scrum was developed in the 1990s. I told you it's been developed a long time, and it's a lightweight framework. I have a reason for putting lightweight in bold, because it means that it's easy to learn and it's easy to implement, right? Scrum is primarily used in software development to deliver software much faster. Now, it can be used across multiple industries, even in regulatory projects, even in just like making I've heard of a bridge being built with Agile. So while it was developed for software in the beginning, it's now scaled to other places. One of the good things about Scrum is that it reduces time to market. So companies like it because it's very simple to train people on it. Even though one thing about it is that Scrum is easy to learn, but difficult to master. And that's why people become Scrum masters, right? So Scrum is suited for small and nimble teams of 3 to 4. Why? Because if we have to deliver value faster, we can't bring a 50-man team, 15-man or woman team, and tell them to deliver things very frequently. They can't do it. One, communication will not be great. Two, some people waiting for others to do work and they're not doing work, right? But with a smaller team, they can deliver value faster because communication is seamless and, they all trust each other. So there's this rule where if a Scrum team, if they cannot share a medium-sized pizza, then the team is too large. We divide into 2, right? So Scrum, like I said, reduces time to market. So for Scrum to be effective, it has 3 rules. This is very interesting. The Scrum Master, who is the person who understands Scrum, right? Now, the Scrum Master does not know about the product. I mean, they might learn about the product over time, but they know Scrum and can help these people to deliver value faster. The product owner and the developer, you're going to notice that the way I put this is exactly the way they are in terms of, so I explain. The Scrum Master is always one role, right? The product owner is only one role, only one person, but developers can be multiple. That's why you see they're looking like Men in Black. A couple of them huddled together here, right? So 3 roles. Scrum Master is always a single person. The product owner always a single person, and developers could be more than one. So let's get into a bit more detail about what these roles are. And so this is an info session. It's not a training class. So a lot of information I didn't get is really high level, but the idea is for you to be more knowledgeable about this before you make the leap. The Scrum Master's role is to coach the team, product owner, and the business on the Scrum process, right? That's the Scrum Master's role. That's the Scrum Master's role. So they are known as the servant leader of Scrum. So a Scrum Master is not a manager. They don't mandate people. They don't push people around. They create an atmosphere where teams become what we call self-organized and deliver value. Now, the product owner, I love this name, is very intuitive, can't be confused. They own the product. They're the ones that have done the market research and said, company, we need this product and we have to build it for our customer. So the product owner defines the why, the who, and the what of the product being developed. So think about your banking app today, whatever bank you use, there's somebody who is the product owner for that app. They're the ones that determine what features get built. They don't build it themselves. They're the ones that determine what features get built, when they get built, why, they determine what features are taken out, right? So they basically own the decision of what a product should contain. And then we have these guys, the cool kids. They're the ones who make magic happen. So when product owner decided what needs to be built, they're the ones who would actually go in there and implement, right? So we call them a self-organizing and cross-functional group of people. Self-organizing means that they know the work that they're meant to do and they do it. And cross-functional means that whatever roles are required to deliver a particular working software. So if we need a front-end developer, a back-end developer, if we need a QE person, if we need a solution architect, we have all the skills required within that team to develop the product. So this team is equipped with the skills and roles necessary to implement the product successfully. So key thing about these roles is this person does not build anything. They understand Scrum, they implement Scrum. Scrum is a series of meetings and all of that. You watch a video shortly. They don't do the work. They don't have to understand technology to be an effective Scrum Master. They just need to be able to know Scrum. this person too does not have to understand technology. Product owners actually are business. We call them the business team. They don't need to know technology. They don't need to know the stack. But these guys are the technical people because they're the ones that actually go into the system and build what they've been asked to do. So that's a bit about Scrum. So give me a moment. Let me share my sound. And once you can hear the sound, just give me a thumbs up. I'm going to play a video from YouTube. So I'll play this.
Suppose you'd like to.
Thumbs up if you could hear that test sound. Okay, I see Cynthia, thumbs up. Can you all hear the sound? But would you all hear?
Start a new project. Usually you'd draw up a plan, make a schedule, find a project manager, hold endless meetings, and ultimately just hope you don't stumble before you reach the finish line. But what does that usually deliver? Everything's more expensive than expected. You stress about your deadline. The end result could have been better, and energy has drained from your team. These problems are solved with Scrum. With Scrum, you write fewer plans and you do more. In short cycles, we call sprints. You don't work on separate islands, but as one dedicated team. Instead of working on a project with a distant deadline, you constantly deliver functioning products. You don't use final evaluations, but you receive continuous feedback. Scrum is a flexible way of working in a rapidly changing world. It's frequently used in IT projects, so many of the websites you visit or apps you use were made using Scrum. This way of working is used more and more. Scrum was recently used to build a large new bridge, but it can also be used to develop new products, compile budgets and annual reports, organize events in your town, or even to set up a completely new company. How does Scrum work? Let's use the marketing campaign for a new car as an example. In the first week, you take action right away. You share a glimpse of your design through social media. The feedback you receive will be used in week 2. You attract media attention, which leads to new feedback for making improvements. We call these weeks sprints, which are actually mini projects that each produce their own specific results. Instead of knowing exactly where you want to end up, you take a step-by-step approach as you work towards your final ambition, like the successful launch of a new car. A Scrum team has stand-up meetings, works transparently, feels a joint responsibility, is aware of the progress made every day, and has results to celebrate after each sprint. Scrum has 3 roles. First, the product owner, the key stakeholder with a vision who provides direction to the team for each sprint. Then there are team members, 5 to 9 professionals in various disciplines who are jointly responsible for the results. The Scrum Master, a facilitator who focuses completely on the process. Then there are Scrum lists, the product backlog in which you list your ambitions and express how you intend to achieve them. The sprint backlog, the shopping list of products you want to produce in the next sprint. The definition of done indicates precisely what needs to be done by the end of the sprint. And the Scrum board. This shows all of the team members' tasks, which will change from to do, to busy, to done during a sprint. Then there are 4 meetings. First, the sprint planning meeting. What exactly are we going to achieve during this sprint, and who's doing what? Next, the stand-up. Is everything going according to plan, and are we going to make it? The third meeting is the review, during which you deliver your results and receive feedback. The last meeting is the retrospective. You look back on the process and reflect on what you can improve as a team for the next sprint. Scrum is a powerful way of working that provides speed and energy. Maybe something for your organization too?
Hello? I can't hear you, please.
Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. So, like I was saying, right, that we're going to talk about career. I just wanted to mention that if you go and check LinkedIn, I did a research on LinkedIn. I found out that I said I put Scrum Master because I wanted to get some information about roles in a particular place, and I realized that a lot of the roles that came up, yeah, there was Scrum Master, but there were other roles that did not have the job title Scrum Master. So I thought my filter was malfunctioning, and then I just said, let me do a sample and see why this thing is coming up, right? And what I found out, and this is key, is that more and more jobs of today require project management experience. I'm sure a lot of job seekers know that. They say, oh, I understand how to do project management. It may not be, because your role, you're not doing project management for sure, but they want you to have the ability to do project management, because whether we like it or not, in our one way or other, we do projects in our organization. Now, they are now even demanding for people to have knowledge of Agile project management. So whether people eventually become Scrum Masters, getting Agile certification in today's world will set you apart. Getting Agile certification, and I got my Agile certification back then. I really wasn't thinking of becoming a Scrum Master. I used to be a senior BA that time, and I was in the Scrum team. I was like, yeah, I'll just get my Scrum certification because I wanted to know Scrum, because I was already in the Scrum team and I wanted the certification. So I did get my professional Scrum Master and PO, but not because I was not, at that point, I had not really thought about what I really wanted to do with that certificate beyond being able to operate in the Scrum team. So that's just one key thing I want to mention. However, for careers, whenever you're going to a career path, I want to challenge people, because I don't only train, I also coach, right? And I always challenge people, before you take a leap into a particular role, you need to ask yourself, where next? Where is this role going to take me? You don't want to get into a role and then figure out that at the point in time you're going to eat a career plate and you're not going to make any more money, right? So that's what this whole slide is about, to let you know that, the Agile roles, Scrum roles is a good place to go. So the growth outlook for Scrum Masters looks good based on how many years of experience you have, right? Some people eventually become senior Scrum Masters, some go into the product owner role, others become Agile coaches. So Agile coaches are people who have been Scrum Masters or professionals in Scrum, who now coach the team, the organization about Scrum. Then we talked about release train engineer. And now, even higher than a release train engineer, we have solution train engineer. So these two roles only operate in companies that do skilled Agile. So one of the things I always encourage people is that even after getting your base Scrum Master certification, you should go for you should go and take training or write an exam for a more technical Scrum role, like release train engineer or safe solution train engineer in safe. Then there's Agile governance roles in centers of excellence. What does this mean? For any company to implement Scrum today, they're not just going to hire and say, just go and implement Scrum. Someone will sit down and build the framework of how that company will implement Scrum. They will continue to look at that framework and evolve it as people are growing in Scrum. They will continue to tweak it, because what you start with from day one might not be what takes you further as a company in year 1, 2, 3, 4. There's people in the company who are not Scrum Masters, but Agile folks may have been Scrum Masters, may have been Agile coaches, may just have Scrum certification, whose work is to create the framework of how companies would implement and they maintain it. And then there's people who are team leaders. So they call them people managers, your manager. You can become a manager for Scrum Masters. And finally, you can go into more senior roles as a Scrum Master, because you've done Scrum for years and they're looking for someone else to be the champion of Scrum within the organization at a more senior level. So that's what the career looks like. So these are some examples of people who've transitioned to Scrum, right? We've had people from manufacturing, pharmacy, people who never had jobs, people who are in engineering have moved to Scrum, lawyers. I've had someone in the entertainment industry pass through my class. He used to be Flavor's manager then. Entrepreneurs, people who all their life they've done their business, but they just said, you know what, it's not working anymore. I want to do something else in technology. Homemakers, marketers, people in oil and gas, banks. This is just a subset, different people. So there's nothing like, oh, I don't have any career, I've not done technology before. It doesn't matter. What does the industry look like? So these are a few stats and information about what the industry looks like. So I checked this in the UK, about 50K plus jobs on LinkedIn in the UK. And like I said, some of these roles, you see Scrum Master, some might see Project Manager, some might see Agile Project Manager, some might just see something else, Team Lead, Delivery Manager. They all require Agile certification or Agile knowledge. The good thing about being a Scrum Master is you have the ability to work remote. And this is the stats that I see in the UK. These are average. The average salary on Glassdoor is 62K. Salary range I've seen is between 45K to 86. And this is lower end from some people who don't have experience and don't negotiate well. But really, there's higher salaries, right? And the salaries get higher as you progress towards more executive level. And listen, this salary is not, is full-time. It's not contract, because as a contractor, you earn more. I actually should have put the rates I saw for contractors. So this is full-time employment. The good thing about Scrum is that you don't need technology experience to be a Scrum Master or work in an Agile team. And you don't need any coding experience, zero coding experience. Isn't that great? So you get to work in a lucrative tech field with limited tech skills, and you can get into Scrum and be able to even transition even to more technical technology roles. If you now feel like I want to get those tech experience because I want to become a cloud engineer, infrastructure architect, and things like that. And then of course there's job satisfaction. One of the things I like about being a Scrum Master is that even though I'm not doing the work, but the fact that I've helped this team become set up, and I can see that sprint over sprint, they're delivering value. It gives you joy to be able to help other people succeed. And you don't get to work on weekends, you don't work after hours. I can tell you it for free, no gimmick, nothing. There's nothing that makes, the only time a Scrum Master will work on after hours is maybe they feel like staying back with the team. So if the team has finished building some code and they want to deploy it into production, I'll say, let me chill with the team and be with them while they are doing this. But you don't work on weekends, you don't work after hours. It's a 9-to-5 job, simple. So don't forget, submit your questions on Slido. Is Donald on the call? Because I don't see him. Donald, are you on the call? If you are, I don't know if you joined or you did not. So Donald was one of my previous students. Donald, are you there? You joined. So please add your questions. So how do you become a Scrum Master? We offer a simplified approach to raising and empowering the next generation of Scrum Masters. So we have 2 trainings. We'll talk about it in a bit. We have a 6-week power up training, and we have the 5-day training. But let me bring up your questions and see if we have any questions. Okay. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in Slido. And nothing I can do is I can let you go on mute and we can make this interactive since we have a smaller group today. So someone said, is this product owner the same as a product manager on the team? Good question. So I'm just going to explain this, right? The product owner and the product manager actually are 2 different roles. I've done those 2 roles before, and I'll tell you the difference. Now, but companies tend to make the same person a product owner or mix up the roles. So a product manager is more of a business person. So they might be doing beyond even the product, they might be doing things like profit, P&L for the product, right? P&L, so P&L is all about financials of the product. They might be doing, they might be managing even external clients, right? So they're more product focused. They don't get involved with Scrum teams because they're more of product focused, all the business stuff, market research, financials, forward looking at the roadmap and doing research before they decide that this is what they want to build, right? The product owner, on the other hand, sits more with the Scrum team. The product owner understands the feature that needs to be built, they prioritize it, they make decisions, and they make trade-offs. while they can be the same person, but it's not advisable because product managers really don't make good product owners, simply because they are more focused on financials and more about that. They don't understand prioritization of features with a Scrum team. And it takes them a long time to get into that mindset of a product owner. So the product owner kind of sits between, product owner has a bit of program management knowledge and kind of understands the language of technology. They're not technology people, but they spend so much time with technology folks. So they kind of understand how to manage technology people. So it's only one question we have. Does any other person, do you have any question? If you have a question, we'll just do question segment. Okay, someone dropped a question. Do you need to be knowledgeable about the product you are working on as a Scrum Master? So knowledge on a project comes from experience, right? And so what I mean, when you mean knowledgeable, there's two scenarios, right? If you work in a particular industry and they're looking for a Scrum Master in that industry, there's a very high chance that you get the job because you work in that industry. That's one scenario. If you are a very good Scrum Master and you can really get through the interview process, whether you know the project or not, what a lot of hiring managers too are looking for a diverse set of skills, right? So if they say, if they see that this person has a lot of experience, they're knowledgeable, they come across very well in the interview process, whether you know the project or not, it doesn't stop you. But when you get into the team, I recommend for Scrum Masters to get to know about the project. When you mean get to know, enough for you to be able to help your team move forward, but you are not the one doing the project. So you're not the expert. You don't need to be the expert. You don't need to have answers to any key technical questions, nothing like that. So in a nutshell, you don't need to be knowledgeable to become the Scrum Master. You don't need to know about the project to be a Scrum Master, but as you work with the team, try to get some knowledge, because the more you understand what the team is doing, the better for you. Will I be able to land a job after the training? Since I think this is no. I think what you mean is no. If you submit that question, please just, I don't think it's unpractical. I'm thinking that you said, will I be able to land a job after training since I have no practical Scrum knowledge? So that's a good question. So that's why we have 2 trainings. I'll walk you through the training. We have the 4-day training that when you do it, what you can do is, go write the exam. We'll review your resume once. And if you're someone who's smart, you can continue to do for a job. But for those who want like core knowledge, we have a 6-week training where you get practical knowledge of Scrum. So what do you mean by practical knowledge of Scrum? You get to do a real project. You role play. You be an actual Scrum Master. So you get to use the tools that Scrum teams use. You use Jira and Confluence and all of that. And I'll be there like an Agile coach. So they're going to work in a team. People have a real project to use. So you get that practical experience in 6 weeks. And then we have a WhatsApp group where we're continuing to share more knowledge. I also have additional free training apart from this training where we're looking at specific aspects of Scrum and doing like a free 1-hour training that continues to cement and solidify your knowledge. So getting to become a Scrum Master is not, you can finish training in 6 weeks. I can even train you for 3 months, practical. Becoming a good Scrum Master while you're interviewing is about constantly absorbing information. So we continue to share information. For example, in my WhatsApp group, I gave them a challenge last week, and a few of them did, and I challenged them to say, okay, I'm looking for a job. I know people are looking for a job. You're telling me some people are getting interviews. Send me your elevator pitch as a Scrum Master, because that's what sets you apart from the next person. And out of a group of 35, only 5 people sent me the elevator pitch. I was like, are you guys really ready? Are you people really looking for jobs the right way? Because these are some of the things that we need. You need to have your elevator pitch ready. So yes, you'll be able to land the job once you go to our practical training. So the other one is, do you think having a background of project management will aid one's journey as a Scrum Master? Yes, I can tell you that. I can tell you that for sure. If you, what happened to that question? Oh no, I think I closed. So if you have project management experience and you have additional Scrum Master experience, it will help you to land a Scrum Master job faster. Do you find it? Who knows that? So this is not clear, but maybe you can resubmit this question. How easy to get a job as a Scrum Master after you get all the necessary qualifications? So this is a very subjective question. To get a job as a Scrum Master, is it easy? It's not. I can't say it's easy. Everybody's journey is different. It's about the amount of effort you put into your job search. Let's put it like that. The amount of journey, amount of effort you put into it, the kind of person you are, right? So I have someone who went through my Scrum training this year. She attended the January one. She finished in February. She was in Nigeria. She was moving to Canada. And believe me, like 1 month before she landed Canada, she finally landed a successful job. And now she's at the final stage of her interview, and she's hoping to finish. They already started her background check. They are hoping to send her an offer sometime. That's an example. I've had people in my class that even while they are doing training, they started doing interviews, and after training, they got jobs. I've had people that have gone through the training and they're still in their job search. But the truth is that if you look at those people, those people, they all have different journeys. They all did things different. And that's why beyond the training, it's also about me constantly supporting you, right? So I'll talk about what that post-training support looks like. What does a Scrum interview entail? So this is not the scope for it, but it's what a Scrum, at the high level, a Scrum interview, you have to have your elevator pitch, introduce yourself, right? You introduce yourself as a Scrum Master, talk about, what are your superpowers? I always tell people to, what are your superpowers? What are you known for? Are you good at organizing and all of that? What industries have they worked in? That's one. They're going to want to know how you've resolved conflict in a Scrum team, because they're working with people. They're going to have conflicts. How have you resolved conflicts? They're going to want to know, things about how well do you know the Agile manifesto? That's some of the things you're going to learn in class. So if you attend training, you get to understand all of that. Or do you just provide training? No, we don't do certification exams. Certification exams are conducted by the Scrum. There's several Scrum bodies. We only train. We don't certify. No trainer certified. We're not certification people. The recognizable certification that I'm going to take is the PSM1. PSM1 is about 150 USD, which will probably less in pounds, right? Most of the Scrum certifications are if you're doing CSM, I think CSM is under $400, which will be less for you guys. How difficult is it to pass the Scrum Master certification? The Scrum certification is very simple to pass. This is just random. The day I did my Scrum certification years ago, it was a slow day in the office. I've been reading. And I was like, today nothing was happening in the office. I was at the end of my project at that point in time, and I had free 3 hours. So I was like, well, I have 3 hours of not doing anything. I went into the office, and the Scrum certification exam is 90 minutes. I did that exam in 45 minutes and came out as a Scrum Master. So it's not hard. I've had people, while they're in the program, already passing their Scrum certification. So we're at the end of the question and answer segment. Any other questions? If you have any question, you can go off mute. I can answer that, and then we'll be wrapping up soon. Any other questions? If you wanted to go off mute and ask a question. Okay, Donald, are you here? I can see Donald now. So Donald, I'll just let you go on off mute and share your experience on the program. So Donald was a former student of mine. Share your experience with the program.
Hi guys. Hi Coach Pam. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, cool. So I joined the first cohort Coach Pam had, and I had a very good experience in regards to like understanding what Scrum is about. I actually like this, like Coach Pam's style, because she made it quite easy for me to understand. Before that, I've been dabbling with different coaches online just to see how I can get on Scrum. It kind of made me. It was not really clear because everyone you think Scrum will be something that's going to be very difficult, but she had like a style whereby she was very detailed with her answers, and the practical we did for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, I think, was very helpful because it gave me like a hands-on experience on what Scrum is really about. And I feel like that kind of like, that gave me like confidence which I needed. And yeah, I passed my, my PSM on my first day, thanks to like, obviously the slides I got from the, from the program that I did as well. But yeah, I'm glad I obviously like was able to take that jump and yeah.
And how is your job search going? Because it's just finished, so how is your job search going? Are you getting more interviews at least online?
Yes, I am, and I currently have like, I think, how I put it, like it's like you said in regards to like is the effort you kind of put in. I have a job already, so it's quite hard to like multitask and all of that. But I've been able to like get like loads of interviews. I have like 2 interviews coming up, which I'm preparing for, and yeah, fingers crossed. I get something in like.
And Donald's in the UK. That's why I invited the UK person. I just said, time zone, because it's really early for me, and my other students, the ones that have London rules, they just couldn't make it. They are in Canada, so they couldn't come because it's very early in my time. All right, thank you, Donald, for sharing your experience. I really appreciate.
Yeah, thank you as well.
Okay, so we are getting to the end. Thank you for spending your time with us. So I talked about our simplified approach to Scrum. To become the Scrum Master, you can enroll in 2 of our classes, anyone that you want. So we have our flagship class, which is the most popular, the one that gives you the most confidence, is our 6-week program. So you do all of the theory stuff for just 4 days, and then for 1 month. When I mean 1 month, I mean 1 month. You are building a backlog. You are writing user stories. You are functioning as a Scrum Master. Then we have the boot camp. People know what boot camps are. They're really quick, short, but they're very intense. There you get to cover all of the basics of Scrum. We don't have the practical class in the 4-day program. And then finally, we recommend that you take the Scrum certification. That's my recommendation, but sometimes I recommend people to go take the SAFe Scrum Master. So, in case you missed that, these are people that have successfully transitioned to Scrum. Some of them didn't have anything to do with technology. Now, this is the training that we have. So the first one is the boot camp, the power up training. So this is what the package includes. So the package includes access to training videos for up to 6 months. So after training, you get your training videos, right? So you can watch them, rewatch them anytime. Then you have access to 1 month practical training where you get to work as a Scrum Master. This is not someone else come and talk to you in class and go. No. You're going to be working as a Scrum Master. You're going to be logging into the systems and doing actual things. You have access to our Scrum Master community on WhatsApp. So other Scrum Masters that have landed roles, others that are being trained, others that have trained and are in their journey, will be in WhatsApp. And one of the things I also get to do, because of my role as a mentor, even my organization for Scrum Masters, I always get to see opportunities that come up, right? So I always share them with people. I mean, I recently in a group shared, I have 2 kind of groups. I have the ones that have done my training and the ones who haven't done my training but just want to stay connected. And even in the community that hasn't done my training, I shared an opportunity that came up at my organization for people who have been out of work for a long time and wanted to become Scrum Master. And I just posted it there free. And people applied, and one lady reached out and was like, I wanted to give you an update, or they've called me for an interview, and I've not trained her before. But I'm just going to example, but hers is a different process. she's been out of work for years. She's been a mom. So it's something we call the returner program for people who have been out of work for a long time. And I see opportunities. So there'll be job opportunities, there'll be networking opportunities I'll be sharing in the group. Apart from the training videos and the 1 month practical, you also have access to 2 free templates that I've curated. So when I thought about my time being trained, honestly, they trained me, and after the training, I was still clueless, and I didn't get practical, right? And so I created 2 free templates to help you be confident, even after all of the training and all of the practicals, that you can continue to refer to. So I carved my checklist of what to do your first month as a Scrum Master. Actually, trust me, if people read this is a hack to even being able to answer some interview questions, because some common interview questions are, hey, when you get into the role, walk me through your first 1 month, or walk me through your first 3 months on this job. I've helped you with your first month as a Scrum Master. I also have a Scrum Master event toolkit. So what is this toolkit? It's a condensed form of everything I've taught you. It's a way that if you get a job on day one, if you call me and you didn't reach me for time zone differences, or I was busy, or you feel like I don't want to call this lady, this would help you prepare for an interview. It will help you function as a Scrum Master from day one if you refer to it. It's a cheat sheet that I personally created. Very simple, in simple English, very clear for people to use. And then you have post-training support. We help you with your Scrum review, your resume review, and interview prep. So, and you also have the optional, if you want to also use our company as your work experience as a Scrum Master. That's what we offer. So all of this is here, and it's cost £1,500 and with a discount of 500, where instrumental payments are available. So usually I accept payments through PayPal. You get to, I think the UK does pay in 3. My UK clients do pay in 3. So it debits you, it splits it in three equal installment over time. So it's convenient for a year. And so this is our main training that gives you the most value for your money, especially for those who are not just looking for certification, but are looking to make a career change. Now, I'll just play a video for you, just to give you more detail about what this 6-week training is. So this is what a 6-week training.
A pro, all in 6 weeks. For a Scrum Master training that prepares you for real-world experience, then you've come to the right place. You'll learn all the skills you need to go from newbie to Agile expert without breaking a sweat, so you can secure a rewarding Scrum Master role and feel like a pro, all in 6 weeks. Here's how it works. The 4-day training takes you through the principles of the Scrum Guide, Scrum roles, Scrum events and artifacts, and deep dive into backlog management, user stories, setting up Scrum teams and Scrum metrics. Next comes a 1-month period where you'll experience a Scrum practice simulation on a real project. During this time, you will act as a Scrum Master and facilitate all Scrum events, including daily Scrum, sprint planning, sprint review, sprint retrospective, and backlog refinement to help cement your understanding of the Scrum Guide. Best of all, you get to use the real software tools like Jira, Confluence, retrospective, and estimation tools that Scrum teams use. You will be supported by an Agile coach who will guide you on Scrum best practices throughout your learning process. All classes are virtual. So, if you are ready to begin your learning process and kickstart a successful tech career in Scrum, why not go to our website and register for your preferred training program, and we will see you in class.
Okay.
Looking for a Scrum Master training that prepares you for a real-world experience?
So the other training that we have, which is a bootcamp training. So it's for people that want an accelerated training. It's 4 days. What do you get? You get access. You still get access to your training videos. You still get access to our community on WhatsApp, and we offer post-training support. I'll still do a resume review for you, one single review, and the discount you get. So this is wrong. So the discount you get is $50 off. So you pay $450, but it's not eligible for instrumental payments. So that's the training that we have. Any questions? Mr. Can you also, in case you want to join us on WhatsApp, feel free to join us on WhatsApp. Any questions from you guys? We are finishing 18 minutes early. I really want to thank you all for being an amazing group. Your questions are fantastic. These are all of our socials. Feel free to connect with us on socials, reach out. I'm always available to answer your questions. Any questions from you guys before we end the session? Any questions? All right. Thanks everyone for joining. I wish you a great weekend and hope to see you in class soon. All right.